Gen X didn't just watch movies. We got emotionally imprinted by the soundtracks, blasted through TV speakers that were definitely being held together by hope and slap on the side. Today, we're doing 10 iconic 80s movie songs, real facts, the messy behind-the-scenes drama, and the urban legends people swear are true. Quick rules so the comments don't turn into a cage match. When I say fact, it's documented. When I say rumor, it's widely repeated, but not officially confirmed. So play nice. If you lived on MTV, VHS, and bad school cafeteria pizza, this is your childhood. So let's hit play.
Don't you forget about me.
This is not a song. It's a generation's closing credits. Fact, it was written for the movie, not by the band. Producer Keith Forsey and guitarist Steve Schiff wrote it specifically for The Breakfast Club. Simple Minds initially rejected it because they didn't want to record someone else's song, which is very, we're artistes, but also very, very, holy shit, we almost fucked up on that one. The song got offered all around before Simple Minds finally said yes. Brian Ferry is a documented no, and once it landed in that final scene, that fist in the air, it became their only US #1. Fun fact, the la 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 outro. Yeah, that one, and a lot of the attitude people remember, that's the band bringing their own flavor into something that could have been pretty generic. All right, rumor time. The story you'll hear forever is that Billy Idol was offered the song too. Some accounts insist, yes, it's true. Others kind of push back. But the important part is this. The song was floating around until it found the perfect movie moment to haunt our DNA.
Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
The Gen X takeaway: if you've ever stared out a car window at night and got dramatic for no reason, congrats. John Hughes did that to you.
Now I gotta cut loose, Footloose.
Footloose is what happens when adults try to ban fun and teenagers respond with choreography and paperwork. Fact, the dancing is band idea isn't totally made up. The real-life inspiration most tied to the story is Elmore City, Oklahoma, where public dancing was actually restricted for decades.
This is Elmore City, Oklahoma, where fundamentalist religion is strong, worldly amusements are few, and dancing is forbidden by an 80-year-old city ordinance.
They didn't have a prom for years, and when students pushed for one, there's a famous school board tie vote that got broken with "Let 'em dance." That's the most Gen X origin story ever. Adults said no, teens said, watch us. The song was co-written with Dean Pitchford, who was tied to the film story, and the track spent weeks at #1 in 1984. It didn't just sell the movie, it became a cultural, we're doing it anyway. All right, rumor time. People constantly say they filmed it in the town that banned dancing. That's the most repeated mix-up ever. The band story is Oklahoma inspiration, but the filming locations were not the no dancing town. The Gen X takeaway: Footloose is basically the anthem of every time someone told us, because I said so. And we thought, okay.
Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
This song is a jingle, literal jingle with supernatural powers. Fact, Ray Parker Jr. was under brutal time pressure. Basically, write a hit song yesterday kind of thing. So he leaned into the smartest solution. Make it sound like an infomercial hook on purpose. The "Who You Gonna Call?" That's not really a lyric. It's a reflex. It's the one line even people who hate pop music can't avoid. Now for some drama. The song is accused of ripping off I Want a New Drug by Huey Lewis and the News. Listen to the similarities.
I want a new drug, one that won't make me sick.
Damn. So a lawsuit happened, they settled out of court, and the settlement was confidential, which is why it's still a rumor buffet. Here's a little spicy detail. There's reporting that the filmmakers used I Want a New Drug as a temp track while editing, so they get the timing right. Now, temp tracks are basically the original copy-paste the vibe, so you can see why people sort of side-eyed this. The Ghostbusters music video, by the way, cameo madness. You got Chevy Chase, John Candy, Danny DeVito, Carly Simon, Peter Falk, Terry Garr, Al Franken. It's like Ivan Reitman called every celebrity he knew and said, "Hey, you want to be in a video? You don't get paid, but it'll be hilarious." All right, now for the rumors. There's a lot. Because the settlement was confidential, the number is not public. But people constantly repeat that it was around $5 million. Is it confirmed? Nope. Is it the most believable 80s number ever? Yes. And the rumor has extra fuel because later there was drama over what could and couldn't be said about the dispute publicly. The Gen X takeaway on this one, this is the most Gen X outcome. You got a catchy hook, a lawsuit, confidentiality clause, and everyone pretending they don't remember.
Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters! Take my breath away!
This song is the definition of your biggest hit is the one you didn't ask for. The facts. It was written by Giorgio Moroder. I can never say his name, so whatever. And Tom Whitlock for Top Gun. It was performed by Berlin and even won an Oscar for Best Original Song and hit #1. It wasn't the classic Berlin in attitude, and that caused some real tension around identity versus commercial success. The rumors are the line "Berlin hated the song" gets repeated a lot. The safer truth is the relationship was complicated. Some people talk about label pressure and creative conflict, and while the vibe varies by interview, the tension is real enough that the rumor refuses to die. The takeaway on this one is this is the song that made an entire generation think romance should look like fog, neon, and poor life choices.
That's the power of love.
This song is basically a DeLorean door slamming shut. Fact, it was written for Back to the Future and became Huey Lewis and the News' first US #1. And yes, it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song. Another fact, Huey's cameo, this one right here,
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud. Next, please.
it's one of the funniest flexes ever. Think about it. Imagine being so successful, your movie cameo is just you roasting a teenager who is literally you. Now to the rumors. There are versions of the story where the filmmakers wanted a more literal Back to the Future type theme, and Huey wasn't about that at all. The consistent truth is they captured the vibe without narrating the plot, which is why it aged so well, just like all Gen Xers. The Gen X takeaway, it's optimism with a smirk, like us, before bills and lower back pain.
What I'm feeling, feels believing.
This is the underdog montage blueprint. The facts. It went #1 for weeks and swept major awards. We're talking Oscar, Grammy, Golden Globe energy. It basically hard-coded Try Harder into the 80s brain. It's another Giorgio Moroder engine, never say his name, with Irene Cara power, which is like putting a jet engine on a pair of leg warmers. Now for the rumors. You'll hear the recorded in one take under weird conditions story. I believe it is recorded in one take while laying on her back. Why would anyone do that? That's weird. It's not reliably documented, but it persists because it feels like the kind of legend people want to be true. And the Gen X takeaway on this one, If you've ever cleaned your house like you're training for a championship, Flashdance did that. This is the soundtrack version of Musical Chairs. Danger Zone bounced around multiple artists before it landed with Kenny Loggins. The names that repeatedly show up in documented retellings are... Toto was involved early, then it fell apart over contract and legal complications. Jefferson Starship is commonly mentioned as being in the mix early. Corey Hart was approached and reportedly declined. REO Speedwagon, they passed because the notes were too high. Bryan Adams is widely reported to have declined because he didn't want to be connected to a film he felt glorified war. Then it comes back to Kenny Loggins. And once it hits, the man is basically crowned the king of soundtracks. It peaked at number 2. Yeah, it was never a number 1 hit. It was blocked by Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, which is a very two legends entered, nobody left chart moment. Now for the rumors. Because so many people were in the running for this song, there were always extra names tossed around by fans. But even without the bonus rumors, the documented list is already kind of insane. The song didn't get chosen. It survived an elimination round. The Gen X takeaway on Danger Zone, it's why we all run down hallways like we're late to save the world when we're just trying to get some snacks.
If you leave, I won't cry.
This might be the greatest test audiences bullied the ending story ever. In fact, the original ending of Pretty in Pink had Andy ending up with Ducky. It was filmed, and the big dance was reportedly set to David Bowie's Heroes. O.M.D. actually had another song tied to the original ending. It's often cited as Goddess of Love, but once the ending changed, they were asked for something new and fast. And If You Leave was created on a brutal timeline, commonly described as under 24 hours. Think about that. A hit song written in less than a day. Now, for the rumors. Over the years, fans have circulated multiple what it was supposed to be versions. Number 1, Andy ends up with Ducky. That's a fact. It was filmed, tested, then booed. Number 2, Andy ends up alone, choosing herself. That was a rumor, fan wish version, widely discussed, but not the film test ending people booed. Then 3, Blaine is cut way harder. Doesn't show, it's a rumor and a reconstruction version. So the safe core is Ducky plus Heroes was real. And it got booed into history. The Gen X takeaway on this one, we learned early, the public doesn't want realism. They want the rich kid redemption arc.
In your eyes, the light, the heat.
This one right here isn't just famous. It's a cultural gesture. Fact, the song was already successful before, so it wasn't some forgotten deep cut. But that boombox scene gave it its second life.
I did not pick up that that was going to be one of the highlights of the movie. I didn't know at the time until later when it just kept getting referenced in things.
Now, the behind-the-scenes chaos is perfect. At one point, Peter Gabriel was kind of uneasy about licensing because he thought the movie had an overdose scene. Except Say Anything doesn't have an overdose scene. The reason? He got sent the wrong movie. That's not rumor, that's actually documented. Hollywood accidentally mailed the wrong VHS energy count thing. Once the mix-up got corrected and he saw the right film, he approved the song. In that boombox moment, almost used different music. Cameron Crowe originally wrote it with Billy Idol's To Be a Lover. And then John Cusack wanted Fishbone, which would have made that scene feel totally different. Instead, In Your Eyes hits the perfect balance. Romantic without sounding like a greeting card. This is the universal language of Lock In. In fact, the song was commissioned for Rocky III at Stallone's request, and it dominated the charts. 6 weeks at number 1. It won a Grammy and scored an Oscar nomination. And believe it or not, Survivor wasn't Stallone's first pick. He wanted Queen, but they passed. And the result, the riff of that song, basically a switch in your brain that flips from I'm tired to I'm gonna fight a mountain lion. Now for the rumors. People swear up and down it was written in a lightning sprint. A few days, 3 days, 1 day, something, whatever. The exact number's a little fuzzy, but the end result sounds like it was forged in a gym and mixed with pure stubbornness. And the takeaway on this one, this song has outlived gyms, motivational posters, and half the people who tried to ban dancing in Footloose. All right, Gen X, which rumor did you believe instantly? And which one still feels true even though probably not? Drop your favorite soundtrack myth in the comments, like, subscribe, and if you want part 2, some deeper cuts, weirder legends, and more, how is this real? Say part 2 and tell me the movie.